Welcome to the Superpolator introduction. I'm going to load 4 Adobe Sans UFOs I generated with FontLab into Superpolator and make some intermediate weights. I make a new document. Adobe Sans has 2 axes. It's relatively straightforward. There's a weight axis, and I'm going to give it a scale of 0 to 1000 and a width axis which I also put in the same scale. Then I need to load the masters. I can select all of them at once. Here they are, and I'll take this opportunity to save the document. Now I need to place the UFOs in the design space along the axes. This one is going to be weight 1000. This one is going to be 0, 0. No weight, no width. This one is going to be wide 1000. And this one is going to be 1000 for both. Now in the design space I can see a map of how the masters are configured. I can pick the weight axis for the X, the width axis for the Y, and no axis for the Z. And I get a small map of light condensed, light wide, bold condensed, and bold wide. If I click the field check, I will actually get a map, a color field showing the influence, the extent of the influence of each of the masters. And I can save this as a JPEG using the export space image. I'll switch it off again. How do I see the intermediates? I click anywhere in the design space field, and Superpolator will mesh all of the masters together. That's what it's doing now. Depending on the number of masters and the number of glyphs, this might take a bit longer. And now I can drag and see the interpolations or the extrapolations if I drag outside of the masters. Anywhere in the field I can define an instance. Instances are the things I'm going to generate with Superpolator. So I can say this is an instance here, and another one, and another one. Here's a range of weights and widths. I can look at it different ways. I can superimpose them like this, or I can pick different sizes. I can select a weight and change the names. For instance, I can call this extrapolation. I can call this bold, this one medium, and this one light. These instances can be anywhere in the design space, any location. I can edit these locations by dragging the slider or by entering values in the box. I can also create instances with different values for X and Y. I double click on the green button, for instance in the weight axis, and now I have 2 values, one for X and one for Y. It starts out being the same. I get 2 sliders, and now I can set different values for each. For instance, with the weight axis, this is a very interesting way to play with the contrast, either very subtly or very bluntly, depending on where you want to go. This is not the nicest way to show Adobe Sans. It was never intended to be treated this way, so we'll be nice to it. Double click on the XY again to set it back to one single value. If you do have separate values, you will see a representation of that in the design space. You actually see that the master now has, or the instance now has 2 particular points. It says X bold, Y bold. So here are my instances. I can look at them, superimpose them. I can animate between them. If I pick 2 or any number of it, pick a speed, and then have Superpolator calculate a small animation between them. First, it will run through all of the frames and calculate the images. This might take a couple of seconds. You can see the progress here and see how it's going. Once it's generated all of its images, it will go a lot faster. And let's generate some fonts. Stop. Oh yeah, I can do this. Instances, I select the weights I want to generate. I click generate. Round all coordinates and insert the instance as a master are things for a later talk. I just leave them unchecked. I hit generate. Now Superpolator will generate new UFOs for the selected instances. It will make glyphs and matching kerning and matching font values for all of them. And when it's done, in the masters folder there will be a new folder with these instances, which I can then import in FontLab and generate fonts for, or master, or whatever I want to do with them. So save my document, and here they are. Go to FontLab, to the RoboFab script menu, and say import UFOs, and you will have VFB files for all of them. And that's the demo. Thank you.